already streaming. No countdown yet, though. Okay, we're on. So which one, bud? All right. Good morning, Roadrunners. How's it going? Mr. Lindsay here. This is Roadrunner News for Friday. Gosh, what is it? Last Friday of May, I think. So we're at May 26th, day after open house. And it's going to be a great show, I think. I got some announcements. I have a guest for What Do You Want to Be? I have a book commercial. And, of course, we'll end with Roadrunner cards. So I'll quickly introduce my guest so she's not awkwardly sitting there while I do announcements. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, Roadrunners. My name is Maria Adams, and I'm pleased to be here today.
All right, and I'm going to interview Maria, and you're going to learn about what she chose to be. So let's see, announcements. Today, very exciting, is the Team Kids Carnival. So it's going to be very exciting. I know the Team Kids leadership team is going to be setting up around 10 o'clock today and be ready for kindergarten and every grade thereafter. It's going to be a great one. We do have a minimum day, so hopefully everyone told their parents it is minimum day today. The day after open house is always minimum day. I know that everyone's watching this recorded today because everyone's doing the snake pretty much, or in music class. So hope you enjoy it at that time. Let's see, Monday. Oh, very important news. Monday, if you come to school, we won't be here. Monday is Memorial Day. It is a holiday. We did talk about that last week. But just to remind everyone, Monday is a holiday. We come back to school on Tuesday. And starting Tuesday, we have 3 more weeks of school. Alfonso and I were just talking. It is crazy to think that the year is almost over. Isn't that what you said, Mr. Producer? Yeah, it is almost over. But we have 3 weeks of learning to do, and we are going to keep our foot on the gas the whole rest of the way and learn as much as we can between now and June 16th. All right, I think that is all the announcements for right now. And just check my phone, it would text me. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to What Do You Want to Be, our second edition of What Do You Want to Be. And Maria is going to tell us about her job. So Maria, if you would, describe for everybody what is the work that you do?
Well, the work that I do is in a healthcare industry, and it is really focused not as a doctor or a nurse or somebody who comes and draws blood, but really the people behind the scenes that do the business of healthcare. How does healthcare run?
So the business of healthcare, would that mean then like who pays the doctors and things like that?
Exactly. Who pays the doctors, how much they get paid in the health insurance world, and how might you develop ways for the patients to get better care.
Awesome. Oh, can you say that more? What do you mean by better care versus not better care?
Well, for example, some of the work that I've been involved in relates to how seniors, older people, get their medical care. And sometimes if no one is helping to organize it, people go here, there, everywhere. And then sometimes seniors lose track of what's going on with their health care, and it makes it difficult for doctors and others to help take care of them. So part of what I've been doing is looking at things like, maybe you've heard of in the technology world, electronic medical records. How do you help integrate the use of computers and technology and share that information across doctors, hospitals, and others?
Now, I know when I take my children to their pediatrician, to their doctor, lately most of the nurses and the doctors have an iPad in their hand.
Right.
We all have iPads here at school. Could you say more about the electronic records and how that kind of works?
Sure. So basically what that means is it's sharing information that's important. So in the case of your child or you, if you go to the doctor and they happen to see that you went and somebody had to put a needle in you and take some blood, that those results are available for the doctor to see. And so it helps bring everything into one place.
Very nice. So it's sort of like when I'm trying to explain it in Roadrunner language, like when we do a Google Doc and it's shared from one student to another, or you post something on Seesaw and it's someone else from another class that you share, or a parent can see it, something like that.
That's right. And so my work has been focusing on this problem that we have in our country, which is that we are spending billions of dollars, bazillions, some might say, on health care, but it may not be spending the money in the best way. So now, if we're sharing information, somebody doesn't have to have 2 or 3 tests when one test already had the information that somebody needed. That's one of the ways that we're looking at making healthcare better.
Is make it more efficient.
Yes.
So it costs less in the long run,
Exactly.
maybe. Oh, that's
Exactly.
fantastic. And most of the work, if I heard you correctly, you do most of the behind-the-scenes work for senior care.
That's been a lot of
Healthcare.
a lot of the focus, how to set up payments so that it is efficient, which I know is a big word, and maybe
It's a big word, but I use it pretty comfortably because
Okay.
we do some mathematics here called
Okay.
CGI, and we're always in search of the most efficient way to solve a
there you
problem.
go.
So I
Yes,
thought I'd do that.
very good. That's a good word.
So on a typical day, are you on the computer and the phone? Are you out visiting people? Are you holding meetings? Or is it a combination of all that? What's a typical day for you?
So I've been working in the healthcare industry for almost 30 years. And so my days have changed from when I started. My most recent work is more at an executive level, and what that means is that you have a team of people doing a lot of work to help make things happen, much like what happens here at the school that I'm observing, Mr. Lindsay, with the faculty and everybody doing their part and really helping to provide direction. So a lot of meetings, but I've also been, I don't know if you're familiar with the word negotiator. I'm a healthcare contracts negotiator. So that means sometimes I'm meeting with other people to discuss the prices that we're going to pay. For example, what will it cost an insurance company if you have to go to the hospital and have a surgery?
So a negotiator is someone who goes to a meeting and has a discussion and tries to persuade the other group that your opinion is right.
Yes,
is that
that's correct.
So we can relate to that, right, Roadrunners? Because we're in the business quite often of writing opinion papers
Very
at
good.
all grades. So
Yes.
we talk a lot about how to make the best arguments and what evidence supports our conclusion. So it sounds like you're very much involved in that kind of thinking.
Yes, and so, I was thinking about coming to talk with you about what you might want to be when you grow up. I was considering that, I didn't start out knowing, and some of you, it may be years before you really know, but I did know a few things. So if you don't mind, maybe
No,
I'd like to
please.
share that,
Please.
because I think you're speaking to that a little bit.
Okay.
One is that everything I learned, it was like a deposit into myself. So it was an investment in me. So my education, and as I thought about what, as you explore what you want to be when you grow up, what are the things that you're enjoying now? If it's reading or math, thinking. And I realized that the career I've chosen, which is really the business side of healthcare, really I've been able to utilize all of those skills. I needed to be a good writer because I write contracts. I needed to be a good negotiator, which means I needed to be a good thinker. And in order to be a good thinker, I needed to know how to do research and be prepared and be organized.
Right.
And I needed to be a fairly okay communicator, which means to be able to interact with one another and understand another person's point of view. And I needed to be good at math. And so some of us were not good at everything, right? But I think as I thought about and developed my career interests, I was able to choose an area where I felt I could invest my time. And really all of the education, from even the education that your students are getting, that you're getting right now, it all is like a deposit. And then it's really been able to work for me, where then I get to spend my life the investment that I made in my education and the things that really interest me. And that's what I was hoping that your students would be able to think about as they think about their careers.
Absolutely. So all the work that they're doing now can prepare them for a career such as yours.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What was your education like? Did you go to university?
Yes, I went to the university. I went to California State University, Fullerton, which is not far away.
Right.
I grew up just down the street from here, not too far.
In Santa Ana?
In Santa Ana.
In Santa Ana.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to share with you
Please.
is that I learned English as a second language. When I started kindergarten, I did not speak any English. So my education really began in elementary school, much like yours. And so after I went to California State University, Fullerton, I continued to take classes, and then I went to what's called graduate school. So I attended the University of Washington. I moved to Seattle and went to school full-time there for 2 years and received what's called a Master's in Business Administration, commonly called an MBA.
Yeah.
So I have business education training, but I also got a lot of training in communications, writing, other things along the way, which is all really good.
So can I summarize?
Sure.
So what I hear Maria saying is she started kindergarten where Spanish was your first language.
Yes, that's correct.
Learned English in school.
Yes.
Worked really, really hard. Graduated from high school with grades enough to be able to go to Cal State Fullerton.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you graduated from Cal State Fullerton, you got your MBA, your Master's as a graduate degree.
Yes.
And now you're an executive in the healthcare field.
That's right.
Wow. That's a great story, Roadrunners. So my last two questions are the same questions I ask everybody.
Okay.
What is your favorite or best part of your job?
The best part of my job is that I get to work with teams of people, and I feel that the greatest gift I can give is to invest in them and their success, and that's really the best.
So working with people.
Yes.
Fantastic. And what would you say is the worst or most annoying part of your job?
You know, sometimes work is stressful. It's really difficult. And sometimes I don't want to do it. It's maybe I'm going to be negotiating with someone and it's very difficult. And sometimes there's a lot of money involved in the discussions. And so it's difficult when it's just when it's hard to get to what the goal. When I feel like I can't quite get to the goal, and I try everything, and sometimes that's probably the hardest part of the job.
The struggles.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a lot about that here, don't we, Roadrunners? That struggle is as troublesome as it could be, as stressful as it can be. You work through it, and there's always learning at the end of struggle, isn't there?
Yes.
Well, Maria, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being our second guest
You're
on
welcome.
What Do You Want to Be.
Thank you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. We hope you'll hang out for the rest of the show. We've got about 10 more minutes if you're available.
Sure.
And I'll have you switch spots with Stephanie.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. All right, Roadrunners, one of your own, Miss Stephanie from Miss Peeler's class. How are you, Stephanie?
Good.
Awesome. May I be your book holder? All right. Stephanie is here for a book commercial today. She read The Spider Ring by Andrew Harwell. And feels like a library book, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So why did you want to do a book commercial about this book?
Because this book is like really interesting, and like when you stop, you just like want to go in deeper into the book.
What made you pull it off the shelf? Had you heard about it before, or is there something about it that just attracted you to it?
No, like usually I try to get like books that I haven't read before to see like how they are.
Because the picture is quite striking. So my first question to you this morning before we started the show was, is it a scary book? Because that's the impression the front gives me. And you said no.
Not really.
Okay. Why is it called The Spider Ring?
Because it's about this girl named Maria,
Mm-hmm.
and she like really goes to her grandma's house a lot, but her grandma passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and Maria thinks like it wasn't anonymous that she died. So then her
What do you
grandma,
mean it wasn't anonymous?
like, it just like
Like it was suspicious?
Like she thought it wasn't spontaneous, so then like she thought it was kind of suspicious.
Suspicious, okay.
So then Maria, like, before her grandma died, her mom was there, and she told Maria's mom that something about this seashell that like they used to exchange gifts from there.
Okay.
So then Maria went to go check it out, and then she found a box with the spider ring in it.
So what was the big problem in the story?
Like, it was kind of like, no, it wasn't scary, but there was like spiders everywhere. When she wore the spider ring, she had control of them.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And there was this evil one, like this. It was this lady called. It was her friend's aunt, her best friend's aunt. And she took over control of her best friend, and
By the use of the ring?
I guess.
Okay.
And then like she took her brother and her mother, and like she like somehow took them into the store that her best friend's dad owned, and like she wrapped them up in like spider webs, I'm guessing.
I'm getting goosebumps. Are you sure this is not a scary book? It sounds a little bit scary. So did she ever resolve or figure out how the grandma really did die?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
So it all became about the ring and the power she had with the ring?
Yeah.
So how did it all end up?
She saved her brother and her mom, and she got back her best friend, and she met her grandfather, who is like, he stayed young because of the ring, because he also had the ring.
What would you say is your favorite part of the book? Like, why did you really respond to it and want to do a commercial about it?
Like, my favorite part was the ending, that she like got to like save her brother and her mom and her.
So it was a happy ending?
Yeah.
Is there anything about the book that you'd change? Like, if you were the writer, you would have done differently?
Like, when she uses the spider ring, her eyes turn black. So, like, I would change that.
What would you change it to, do you think?
Like, just having her normal eyes.
Because, why didn't you like that part?
Because I'm guessing it was kind of creepy.
Okay. You'd make it a little less creepy? Okay. Because you clearly didn't take it as a creepy book. You took it as a character study that she's trying to figure out how to deal with her, if I got it right, her power that she had. That's awesome. Awesome. Well, it sounds like a really important book. So everybody, this is The Spider Ring by Andrew Harwell. It's in the Heidemann Library, and you may want to check it out. Sounds great. I bet they have this at the public library, too. Is this a recent book? Looks new.
Yeah, it does look new.
Let's look at the copyright. It is 2014, so pretty recent. Last 3 years. All right. You want to do Roadrunner cars with me?
Sure.
All right. Let me give you half. I will take half. So, Roadrunners, thank you so much. To everyone whose name is going to be called, thank you for being respectful and responsible and ready to learn. You are the leaders of the school. Shall we take turns?
Sure.
All right. I'll go first. Natalia from Miss I's class. Good job, Natalia.
Isabella from Miss Borgen's class.
Daphne from Miss Anthony's class. Good job, Daphne.
Alexa from Miss Silver's class.
I have Catherine from Mrs. Parker's class. Good job, Catherine.
Nancy P. from Mrs. Borgen's class.
All right. I have Alex, I think from Miss Matthews' class. Alex Carmona.
Jocelyn M. from Mrs. I don't know.
Robbie.
Mrs. Robbie's class.
Let's see. I have Kayleen from Miss Lean's class. Good job, Kayleen.
Ashley from Mrs. Anthony's class.
Walter from Miss Matthews' class.
Carmi.
Karame.
Karame from Mrs. Anthony's class.
I have a challenge name too. Magran, Magreen. Very cool name. Vasquez, this is Miss Resendez's room.
Jocelyn C. from Mrs. Borgen's class.
Nicole from Miss Silver's class.
Itzel A. from Mrs. Peters' class.
Haley from Miss Besson's class. Good job, Haley.
And Alexa from Mrs. Silver's class.
Benny from Miss Romper's class. Here, one more. I have Emma from Miss Borjan's class.
Octavio from Mrs. Imes' class.
And Kaiten from Miss Resendez's class. We did a lot of cards today. We're getting near the end of the year. We want to get through as many as we can. Good job. Long show today, but I think that's okay. The day after open house. Open house was so much fun. Thank you for coming out. I saw you there.
Yeah.
I saw Alfonso there. It was really a great day, and it was so fun seeing all your parents and everything, and you guys were so proud of your awesome work. And it was so great to see so much work on iPads too, which was really awesome. All right, Roadrunners, have a fantastic day. Have fun at the carnival, and we'll see you out there. Bye, everyone.